Hello everyone, welcome to another review on Yorkshire Gamer, and today I'm going to be looking at some 15mm buildings for Russia, and these are sold by a company called Empires at War. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you will have noticed that a few months ago I did a similar thing with a Renaissance village. I bought quite a few just at the start of lockdown. Me and my lad put them together, and we developed, or we built, a very large Renaissance village. So I've gone back to that company for some more houses, the start of my Eastern Front project, and this is just a quick review of what you get and see if they're of any interest to yourselves. So these are the buildings as they come. They are what's called pre-painted, so sort of pre-coloured really is probably the best way of describing it, rather than just being bare MDF. As you can see there, the roofs have got like a little bit of colouring on them, a little bit of weathering. The sides of the building are pretty much still MDF, but they've got little bits of like I think it is deliberately some of the bird marking just to give it a little bit of weathering, and they look rather nice. Basic, yeah, but still I'd say they were really nice. They do seem to be a little bit large scale. This is a Italian, what am I about? A Russian small farm, I think it's called, and it's got like a little gated courtyard on the front. Same design and build as the other one that we saw, and I've just put some 15mm plastic soldier Russian infantry in that little space there in the front, just to give you an idea of scale. If you put the guy up against the window there, it looks about right, to be fair, but he is on a base, so he's on a 2mm MDF base, which might not sound a lot, but when you are comparing it size-wise, it does add more than 10% to the height of the figure. So there we go, that's that. And got good old Otto Carius's Tiger tank in there. Again, I think the buildings are slightly bigger scale than 15mm, to be honest. I can't imagine a Tiger tank being dwarfed that much by a 15mm Russian hut or hovel, cottage, however you want to call them. But it's not going to put me off. They are nice, basic stuff, and I'm not a fan of terrain. I'm a fan of having really nice terrain. I'm just not a fan of spending time making it. So if I can buy pre-painted stuff from Empires or from Foreground, or the other one that do some painted stuff, then I'll buy it and do that, rather than spending ages painting stuff, painting terrain. I just don't have any enthusiasm for it, so I tend to buy painted stuff, or other people who game here regularly will very kindly bring stuff in, and it gets used in the collective, if you like. So the stuff that I bought was a Russian village set, and there were 5 buildings in that, and as you can see, there's only 4 here. I've got 1 more left to build, and I thought I would do this as an unboxing stroke build video, just so that you can see one in its raw state as it arrives. So I'll clear away this lot and come back to you in a couple of seconds, and we'll do a build. So here's how they arrive, in a little zip top bag with some instructions, and obviously your MDF stuff in the back. Most people would probably had plenty of MDF buildings by now, so there's no surprises really there with how they arrive. You can buy them either painted or pre-coloured, or blank if you enjoy building the terrain yourself. I know some of the people I follow are big into it. It's not my cup of tea, but you can buy it as like a blank MDF template to texturize it and build it yourself how you want, if that's your bag. So they came in a village pack, so the 4 buildings that you've already seen plus this one, all pre-coloured, about £35 I think it was, which for me is grand, because I could spend £35 on unpainted stuff and then leave it in a box for 25 years because I can't bother to paint it. So it's good value for me. Equipment wise, all I'm going to use is a hobby knife, and I'm going to use just general purpose clear glue, boss stick, Yoo-hoo, that sort of thing. I know I've listened to, I think it was a Two Fat Lardies podcast, or maybe on, I can't remember now, Veteran Wargamer, one of the podcasts I listened to, and they were discussing whether to use super glue or PVA, and I use neither. I use boss stick, all purpose glue, or like I say, Yoo-hoo, general clear glue. So that's what we're going to use, and let's just get this bad boy open and have a look at the contents of the bag. So we've got our instructions there. Having built lots of these empires at war buildings, they are generally very good. Sometimes a section might be missing out of it, but they're not difficult to build. So we've got our instructions there, which is great. Then this is the base for the model. You see that's got that's the MDF on the back, and then it's been coloured with like a light earth colouring, and then we've got the tabs for the building itself to fit in. We've got a wood section there with roof strengtheners in it, and then you saw these roof panels on the previous models that we've looked at. Nicely coloured those in sort of a greeny grey, and the way that the laser cutting's been done sort of darkened off the edges, which gives it a little bit of a weathered look. And then tiny chimney pot section. Need to be careful with these. My dog ate 2 of them, which is he's a little bugger, but yet 2 of them, which is why the previous models didn't have chimneys. And then finally, we've got the mainstay. I was going to say sprue, then they're not sprue, are they? Panel, I don't know what they're called, of the building, and you can see there that that's got the side and fronts and the little porch thing on the side. So the first job I'm going to do is just clean up the pieces that I've got. Just going to, with the base, I'm just going to knock out, using the craft knife that I've got, just knock out these tabs, because these are going to be used obviously to sight the walls and front and back of the building. So they're all out and done, and I'm going to do the same with this. If you look here, you've got these little window parts that pop out, and also the hole for the window ledge. So, and you've got this lattice work here as well that will need popping out, and some more windows. So all I'm going to do is just pop them out with this knife, and I'll come back to you very shortly. So there we go, we've just knocked out that lattice work and the windows, as you can see there, and we're ready to go off and build. So the first thing that it recommends that you do is to add the window sills, and I'm just going to break out the main pieces of the building from the main panel, and let's change the camera angle actually, just to give us a better look at what we're looking at. There we go. So on here, on the bottom there, is your windowsills. They'll come out eventually. And all I'm going to do with them is just get the glue, I say dab, that's a big chunk. That's the problem with some of this Bostik stuff. It does come out occasionally a little bit quicker than you like. And there's a little tab, and it literally just fits in like that. And I've got glue everywhere. When I've done these prior to filming it, it's gone really well, and then you lot come along and it all goes horribly wrong. So that's the windowsill put in, and all I'm going to do now is just go and do the other windowsills, so I'll be back in a second. Windowsills in. Next up are the sort of the external blind shutters, and just click these out with my fingernail. And we've got two of these tiny little things, which never in a million years is going to come into focus. Oh, there we go. So two of those either side of the windows that we've just done. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on the back of one of them, and share that between its mate, and just locate those either side of the window, and they tend to sit on the edge of the windowsill, which is quite nicely designed. So there we go, our little shutters on there, and I'll just go and do the other ones. So that's the shutters put on. Would you believe I managed to lose one? So I've got one window with no shutters on at all. Next bit is then to, it recommends that you put the sides on first and then the gable ends, but I've found it's a little bit difficult doing it that way around, because once you've put your sides in to the building into the base, you've then got to locate these little tabs here on the side of the building, and once that's already locked in, that becomes quite difficult. So through building the ones, I found that it's easier to do it this way, i.e. just loosely put them together off the base to get these corner tabs fitted in, and do apologise there everyone, not with the camera. And again, those of you who do YouTube's videos, you'll understand how difficult it is to do the models whilst talking, whilst trying to avoid knocking the camera. And this morning I appear to be failing on all of those. So I'm just going to put this together and come back. So I do apologise, it's one of those things, you try and film something and it all just goes horribly wrong. So the shell of the building is now together, as you can see. Next stage is to get that onto the base. So I'm just going to add glue into each of the tabs so that it will stick once it's seated. I'm not particularly careful with this process, and some of you will probably be having kittens out there who regularly build stuff. I'm just not a particularly good or patient modeler. I really enjoy painting, and I can spend hours and hours and hours painting figures, but come to doing some terrain and I just want to knock it out as quick as I possibly can, hence building the painted stuff. So there we go, starting to take shape quite quickly, quite nicely there. We've got the main walls of the building locked onto the base. Next part is to add the porch parts, and these are the, if you remember early on, we clicked out the lattice work from these. These have a big window in as well. Which just simply push out. And I know in the past people would have built these by hand, sort of scratch built them, and great amount of patience to be able to just buy them off the shelf ready painted like this is a real godsend. The debate that's been going on about, you know, is Wargame dying? I think it's a bit daft if it is, because it's so much easier now. You know, how you get information off the internet rather than getting books out of libraries, how easy it is to buy stuff like this that's pre-painted, already done, already in a kit form, ready to go, rather than have to scratch build it yourself. So much easier. So there we go, there's the little porch on the front of the building. The next thing to do is to glue the front of the porch on. And other than the top of the chimney pot, which is there, I'll just pop that out now and put it with the chimney. This is the final piece out of the main part space. I keep wanting to say sprue, that's why I'm stopping. And a little bit of glue on the edges, and that bad boy should literally just sit up there. There we go, porch on, looking good. Next thing we need to do is put that to one side just for a second, like Blue Peter, and get these roof supports done. So I'll just push these out. They're all pretty much the same. Are they all the same? Or is he just about to make a horrific error? No, he's not. They're all the same. And then we've got these two, one short, one long pieces to glue on. So that's another piece of wood done. Push out the extra unwanted bits. Like we've done there. And then it's a simple case of, these are the triangular roof supports. Adding a bit of glue onto this tab here on both sides. And doing the same with this. And then simply slotting these horizontal supports onto the tabs that we've just glued. and that produces these horizontal roof supports. So I'll do the other one and just come back to you. So there we have the roof supports glued together, the small one and the little one. And it's time to put the roof panels on now. These are quite straightforward. There are two left and right roof, and when you break them off they come off with some sort of nice edging on there, quite like that. And they have like a top tile as well, which is there. And it's just a case of putting some glue on this panel here. Like so. And fitting the roofs on. The only one, it's not really a niggle, the only one really thing with this is there's no place that marks the centre. There's no way, you're doing it by eye, which is not really a problem, just making sure that you've got left and right equal. But there could have been a guiding line on there somewhere that might have helped. That's my only tiny, and that is a tiny quibble about these rules. These buildings. So there we go, we've fitted that on like that, and this bar just fits on the roof there. So I'll put these together and come back to you. So I've got the roof's slate or tiles or wood on now, and then it's an option for yourself obviously whether you want to leave the roofs off so that you can put figures inside them. Over the years I've just started to glue the roofs on because I would end up after a game with a box full of buildings and a box full of roofs, and then have to try and put them all together, and you can guarantee that one roof had gone back in the wrong box or had gone somewhere else, and I just ended up with buildings with no roofs or buildings with the wrong roof, and to get reunited with each other about 25 years after the last time they were gamed with. So in the end I just decided to forget all that and just glue the roofs on and keep a record of what figures were in what building on a piece of paper. So there we go, here's our Russian building, very nearly finished. I'll get rid of a little bit of plastic now, and all we've got left to do is just to put the chimney on. This is the chimney, extremely tasteful for German Shepherds. No idea why my dog ate two of these, but he's in the doghouse literally as a result. And these are just simple sections, and they glue together as a three to build up a bit of depth. So there's two. And then the third one. Obviously, so you've got the brickwork on the outside, and then when you've got the three together, bit of glue on the slope, and then pop that on the roof of the building, wherever you're going to have it. There's your chimney. It will stick eventually, and then just to finish it off, a little chimney top, dab of glue on there, and that's it done. So there we go, 20 minutes of me talking. That's a perfectly acceptable building for 15mm Russian. I would imagine it would cover quite a reasonable span of time as well. I can't see why you couldn't use that in Napoleonics and World War II and World War One any time. And I'll just put these figures next to it again, just so we've got a little bit of an idea of scale. And probably, like I said before, the building's a little bit bigger than the 15mm figures that from Plastic Soldier Company. Maybe they're based on like the 18mm AB figures. They're 20mm, aren't they? So, but I'm happy with them, and I hope that's a good review. You've seen how easily they go together, and if you're interested, I will put a link on the blog post or on here, just to where you can get them. So thanks very much for watching. That was a review of Empires at War and their 15mm Russian buildings.